Hello and welcome to this episode of CAR-Versations with Unstoppable Jennie. If this is the first time you're coming across an episode of CAR-Versations, CAR-Versations is basically me, myself, and sometimes an extra passenger having conversations, CAR-Versations in the car about everything and anything.
No fuss, no gimmicks, just candid conversations about life, love, and other mysteries.
Hello and welcome to another episode of CAR-Versations with Unstoppable Jennie. How are you doing? How are you today? Did you catch the last episode of CAR-Versations? If you did not, you definitely should. It's filled with lots of stuff to, ponder and think about, even if I do say so myself, and I do say so myself. How are you doing today anyways? So today, passengerless again, we're not having a conversation about parenting or children. We're going to have a conversation about relationships, specifically our notion of what the husband and the wife relationship in modern day Nigeria, should I say. So for starters, let's remember a few weeks ago, I'm not sure how long ago from this very moment that you're watching this video, we all watched the Hakimi news break online. The footballer whose wife is has filed for divorce, and who has stored all of his assets in his mom's name, and therefore his wife can't access his wealth or anything in the course of the divorce. And it created such a furor online with many men and women, everybody practically hailing this grown man for what they said was sound financial advice. And so that's the crux of our conversation today. All of the byproducts of that one event. It bred things such as your wife is not your family. And so that's what we're going to discuss today. Is your wife your family? I wish I had a husband here with me to answer that question, but let's just have a conversation and rub minds. Where's the whole notion of wifehood from? First and foremost, it's from the Bible. A man, interestingly, not even the woman, a man will leave his parents, his mom and dad, and cleave to his wife. Ironically, the Bible insists that it's the man that does the living, not even the woman. He leaves to cleave. He leaves to cleave with his wife. Okay. And what was the Bible's intent with that? Was it for the woman to operate as a stranger to the man, or as a baby factory, or as a cook, or as a chef, or as a family member? Okay, that's number one. Let's go through the rest of the Bible. I'm using the Bible now because that's how Nigerians are. They either run to culture or religion when these conversations come up. So let's start with the Bible. So God created the institution of marriage, said the man should leave and cleave to his wife. Okay, and then the Bible, the ones that got married, did any of them ever act like their wives were not their family member? From Abraham to Isaac to Jacob, did any of them at any point ever give you people any inkling that this woman, she's just a passerby in this family, she's not really a member of my family? Okay, let's leave all of that. Now let's come into modern day Nigeria. Christianity, life, family, whatever metric you want to use to justify or argue the point. A woman bred in a family with her own father and mother. Don't forget that the mother is a wife as well. She's from somebody else's family. A mother or father come together, they have a family, they give birth to a daughter, a son, and so on and so forth. Son and daughter marry out, the family tree. That's why they call it the family tree, because if it was supposed to be one narrow line, there would not be a family tree. That's why it branches out, because you're expected to create new family units with your wives. Now we have this scenario here where men in particular have said, my wife is not my family. The only person that is my family is my blood relation. Hello? Is your mother your father's blood relation? Why is she your family? Are you telling me that your father is allowed at any point he chooses to, unilaterally disconnect or remove your mom from that family unit because she's not his blood tie? Because whenever we say things about women and everything that you wish or you think about your wife, you think about the same thing for your sister and for your mother. I hope we realize that. Your wife is not some lone individual standing alone. You are essentially uprooting her from her own family. And you're now insisting that even after you have uprooted her from her family, she remains a stranger in her new family. What's supposed to be her new family, because there are no blood ties. How does that work? How does the mother of your children, the children are your family members, but the mother of your children is not your family member? How do you people breed such dislike for women that you have not even met? Because half of the people I saw online having this conversation weren't even married. How do you sit down and appropriate this kind of angst towards a woman you have not even met, you don't even know who she is, because of some conversation, of some happenstance that you heard hundreds millions of miles away from you? And why are we always eager to appropriate the negative conversations or the negative circumstances or situations? Why is that always the one that has our hackles rising? I will never do this. My wife will never do this. I will do this. I will do that. Why is that always what excites you people? The idea that a woman is some helpless creature that you're going to marry, and then you will put her in the house, and then one day you will tell her she's not your family. Like, how dare you? Is anybody forcing you to marry? I'm very curious. All of these unmarried people that already have this kind of growls against women they have not even met, is anybody forcing you people to marry? I'm really curious. Did they say if you don't marry you will die? It's not by force. You do not get to institutionalize misery in another woman's life that you have not even met. That's even the part that blows my mind, because I don't even see married people having such baseless conversations. Let's leave that side. I actually saw one tweet and he said, it's only my mom, my son, and my daughter that are members of my family. Oh, I'm sorry, where did the son and the daughter come from? Were they bettered via surrogacy? If they were, no problems. Oh, I'm sorry, did you married? You had a wife? She bore you children, and the children are your family, but she's not? And then let's, finally come to the crux of the matter, which when they say, oh, what about in a case, what if a divorce happens? What if a divorce happens? What if a divorce happens? How are you unmarried and you're already planning for a divorce? I don't have the actual stats at the moment. Perhaps I will by the time I'm editing this video. But do you know how many people are married? Do you know what the in comparison, what the numbers are in comparison to the people that get divorced? And why is that the future of all the futures that you see around you? Why is that the one you have planned for yourself? Why is that the one that you feel closest to? Say things and do things that you have no business saying and doing. Anyways, that's my rant on conversations for today. Your wife is not your family. Upon whose authority did that blasphemy arise from? How hot were you by the wife that you don't even have yet to make that kind of assertion? Because I insist that it is definitely unmarried people that make such assertions. Because you cannot marry a woman and go through the hard knock life that you have gone through with that woman and open your mouth and make that assertion about any woman that has been married, that you've been married to, born you children, lived with you, survived Nigeria and the world with you, and you can't make that kind of assertion. So I will insist, for my own peace of mind, that it's married people making those assertions. And I'm going to ask them, why is that the example that you crave, that you are clinging to? Why, of all the beautiful marriages there are in the world, why is that the one that connects with you so deeply? Or is the problem that married people, happily married people, are not amplifying their marriages enough. They're not, and so they're not inspiring you people to see these examples. Is that the problem? Is it that it's only the bad news that, well, that's life? I mean, that's life and that's the world. It's usually the bad news that gets amplified. We agree. But is that your problem? Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Why do you feel a close sense of kinship with bad news about marriage and never the good news? Why is it always the horrid stuff? Marriage is not war. Not be war, not be fight. You're not supposed to enter around with aggressiveness, with I go show you, I go shine eye for you, I be strategizer inside marriage. Marriage that you went into willingly, oh. Because the good thing about marriage is that marriage is the one place where you get to choose your own family. When you're born into a family that you may or may not like. But with marriage, you finally get the choice to choose the family that you want. If you want short children, you could marry a short husband, and so on and so forth. You get to choose. So this thing now, you use your two leg waka inside them. Why they do like saying a war? They force you. Marriage is not war. It's supposed to be your comfort zone. But by the things some of us have said already, inside the marriage they've never entered, you have already created the atmosphere for war and strife. You have already envisioned the divorce, how you will deal with your wife during the divorce process, wife that you do not even have yet. Come on. Exhale. And remember that unless you want to start procreating with your actual family member, so you can keep the wealth of the family inside the family, you will, if you want to, get married, marry somebody else's daughter. She came from a family. And if you're not interested in offering her a family, you have no business uprooting her from the family that she came from. And on that note, over to you. What are your thoughts? Let me know in the comment section below. Why do you think anybody would even think that a wife is not a part of their family? Don't forget to share, to like, to subscribe. Resist the temptation to always appropriate negative circumstances to yourself. Cheers.